Open for Business is presented by Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Globe My Business. Create your success.
Greetings from the Philippines to the world. It's March 9, 2019, 5:02 p.m. here in Manila. We are on Facebook Live on Eagle News and also on our digital channel, eaglenewslive.com. Watch the video also in the Eagle News channel on YouTube. I'm Cesar Vallejos and we are open for business. Join me discover the latest news and information in business around the world. Stay ahead of the curve from vision to action. The peso is 52.16 against the dollar, and at the closing of trade last Friday, the Philippine Stock Exchange Index closed at 7,881.79, up 60.45 points or 0.77%. According to the Housing Industry Plan 2012-2030, an industry roadmap prepared by the Subdivision and Housing Developers Association and the University of Asia and the Pacific, the industry's goal is to produce 2 million homes from 2017 to 2022 and another 7 million homes from 2023 to 2030. According to Lamudi.com, the 8 million target homes is still below the 12.5 million estimated backlog. Current housing backlog is estimated to be at 6.8 million homes. Industry stakeholders must be more innovative in addressing this urgent housing sector need. Filipinos and the global market need quality homes that can withstand the impact of climate change, homes that are sustainable, affordable, and environment friendly. With us today is one of the country's most successful women entrepreneurs who is known for introducing disruptive and innovative solutions for the housing sector. As we celebrate the International Women's Day, we will be joined on the set later by Ms. Emma Imperial, the President and CEO of Imperial Homes Group of Companies. But before that, let's see these headlines from our business news provider, Business Mirror.
This portion is brought to you by Business Mirror, a broader look at today's
GIR
business.
Back on track hits 3-year high in February. ASEAN nations must focus on core industries to boost trade, according to Prime Minister Mahathir. BPI chief sees unemployment drop amid Philippine infrastructure build-up. And here are the details. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas took advantage of clearer economic conditions and a stronger value of the peso against the US dollar to build up its dollar defenses to a 3-year high in February. On Thursday, the central bank reported a $410 million increase in the Philippines' gross international reserves as of February this year from the previous month. This is translated to a GIR level of $82.9 billion in February this year, up from the $82.5 billion level of dollar reserves in the previous month. It is also $2.5 billion higher than the $80.4 billion level seen in the same month last year. The February GIR level is the highest level of dollar reserves since October 2016 when it hit $85.1 billion. This is also the 4th consecutive month that the GIR increased from its previous month's level. The country's GIR is the level of foreign exchange holdings the central bank has during a given period. It is a crucial component of the economy as it is often used to manage the country's foreign exchange rate against excess volatilities. Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad said Southeast Asian economies must focus on the development of certain industries to improve intra-region trade, and local business leaders are in favor of this. At the Malaysia-Philippines Business Forum held in Makati on Thursday, Mahathir said the Association of Southeast Asian Nations should now craft a policy framework that will specify what industries each member country should focus on. With this, he argued ASEAN economies will be able to trade products and services that complement instead of compete. Despite having 600 million people living in Southeast Asia, we are still looking at ourselves as different countries with different domestic markets, Mahathir said in a speech. Merchandise trade by the ASEAN amounted to $2.2 trillion in 2016, of which 23.1% was between the regional bloc's members. The ASEAN is targeting to lower the cost of trade transaction by 10% and double intra-region trade by 2025. The Malaysian leader arrived in the country on Wednesday for a two-day visit. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said that what we really need to work on is how do we strengthen that intra-ASEAN trade, because I think while we have been talking about free trade agreements, there is a feeling that it is not yet that maximized. Total trade between ASEAN member states is just 25% of the regional bloc's total figures, Lopez explained. Should leaders give Mahathir's proposal a chance, Lopez said that the Philippines will most likely push for the development of its semiconductor industry, which is responsible for over half of the country's export pie. Unemployment figures will further go down in the months to come on the back of strong demand for workers in the construction and manufacturing sectors, the country's trade chief said on Thursday. On the sidelines of the Malaysia-Philippines Business Forum, Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said the government is counting on the construction industry to employ aggressively more workers over the next months. This recruitment rush in construction will be crucial to the lowering of the country's unemployment rate. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority reported the number of Filipinos without jobs went down to 5.2% in January from 5.3% during the same month last year. The construction industry is currently experiencing a construction boom with the government's infrastructure build-up program. An estimated 8.4 trillion will be spent until 2022 for various big-ticket public infrastructure, including 75 flagship projects. On top of construction companies, manufacturing firms are also expected to be aggressive employers this year. And we will be talking with the president and CEO of Imperial Homes Group of Companies, Ms. Emma Imperial, when Open for Business returns. Open for Business will be back. Stay tuned.
Open for Business is presented by Globe My Business. Create your success.
We are open for business, and with me is the President and CEO of the Imperial Group of Companies. Thank you, Miss Emma. Miss Emma Imperial,
Thank you for
coming.
inviting me.
Our topic is introducing innovations, disruptive innovations in the housing sector. But before we go into that, I cited a lot of data earlier
Yeah.
during my introduction. Can you correct it or can you update this data? What is the current status of the housing needs of the country?
I think that in 2015, the backlog was about 6.7 million. And
Wow.
Currently, it's about 5.6 million. That includes the...
What year was that, Ms. Emma?
That's 2015 for the
2015.
6.7 million or 6.8 million, as you said.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of change. So the
Mhm.
backlog now is like 5.6 million. But many of the backlog is really on socialized housing. And those include even the blighted dwellings where it's the poverty level. So that is the area of the government.
Mhm.
For our area, it's about 2 million. That's what we're supposed to do, the private sector,
I
which is
see.
really for people who has income, employees has income. So we developers put houses for them, and then it's taken out through banks or pag-ibig funds.
I see. So, briefly, Miss Emma, can you give us the different segments of the market? Because you said there is a socialized housing. A lot of our viewers may not know that because when they say housing sector, it's just one and the same. But in your industry, there are various segments of the market. You have the socialized, and
Yes.
then there's the
Yeah.
economic
Yeah,
housing. Can
economic.
you expound on the
Yeah.
different segments of the market?
The socialized housing is now increased to 550,000. And most subsidies of the government, especially the interest subsidy by Pag-ibig Fund, is given to this type of houses. And the next level is the economic housing,
Okay.
which is up to 1.750 million.
1.70
1.750 million, 1.75 million.
So the description or the difference is basically on the cost of the homes.
The
Am I
cost of the
correct, ma'am?
home, and then with socialized, you get subsidy. The buyers pay 3%, very low
Okay.
interest rate. After that, they pay something like 6.375 up to 6.5%, and that goes to the next level, which is low-cost housing, which is about 1.75 up to 3.2 million.
Okay.
So this is the
So you have the socialized, you have the economic, you have the low cost.
Yes.
What about the other higher? How do they call that sector?
Well, we call it affordable sector, and we like me, we also build up to 5 million, 6 million. But when you get to that level of 5 million to 6 million, then you start selling to the middle market, middle income.
Okay. So that's also the medium cost
That's a medium cost,
housing.
yes,
And then
yes.
there's the higher
Yeah.
market. How do you call that higher market?
Well, it's a high end, but that's really about. At the time we got data, that's about 750,000 backlog, but I think it's now getting nearer. A lot of people are building that segment. We're not there. I'm not there.
Okay.
I'm more on the low-cost housing.
Okay.
And
Which is exactly the area where there is a
A
backlog.
real need. Yeah.
Okay, a real need. Because I understand based on our research, there's no backlog as far as medium cost, and of course the open market or the ones
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are in the higher end sector.
Yeah.
But the backlog is really in the socialized and in
Economic
the
and
economic
low-cost.
and low cost.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to that supply and demand trends in the industry. So knowing that there is a backlog in your sector or in your area, how do you describe the supply and demand?
When the demand on socialized housing is really the biggest, and this has to be addressed by the government. And currently, there's a lot of talks going on with the Department of Housing and to raise the limit, because right now the developers are saying 550,000 is too low already. You know, we're all losing money when we do this. So the creation of the Department of Housing is very good right now, because now all the department or agencies are under one roof, so they can talk easily. Because before they were just they're making their own rules, and it's very hard to agree. So we're very positive that one day there's going to be something that's going to happen, because the biggest backlog now is really socialized housing, and it's affecting the the lower segment.
Okay. Now, Miss Emma, you have been in this business for so long. As a matter of fact, you mentored a lot of people already, and you also keep saying on the various stakeholders like the government. Can you describe the ecosystem of this sector? Who are the stakeholders? So aside from the developers like you, who else are involved? And like say, what specific agencies of the government?
Well, first of all, the one that makes all the guidelines and policies. Currently, I mean, before it was HADSI, that's the
Okay.
coordinating council, and under them, under that HADSI council, we have Pag-ibig Fund
Okay.
and the Housing Land Use Regulatory Board, which gives you all the permits and licenses,
Okay.
and they regulate also the socialized housing. Then the Pag-ibig Fund is a financing arm for all Pag-ibig members, so they get their houses through Pag-ibig Fund, and well, we get affected with other agencies, because as a developer you need to get permits. So if we buy land, we have to develop the land, we have to get permits, so we go through so many agencies and permits. So I think we 25 or 40 permits to be able to get
Wow. So
a
it's
housing
not
subdivision
okay.
approved.
So it's not just one government, although there is a government agency that is really directly involved in the housing sector. Because as you said, since you are a developer, there's a lot of other government agencies that you deal with.
Yes, of
And
course.
what are these aside from?
Well, first of all, the LGUs.
Okay.
So
Oh yes.
when you go to when you buy land, you got to go through them to get the zoning clearance, development permit, building permit once it. So
Okay.
you have to establish a very good relationship with the LGU officials. So from there, in order for you to get to the license to sell, you got to go to the agrarian reform, the DNR, and then if there is if your property is located near the lake, we have this
Okay.
Laguna Lake, you also have to get there. So
Okay.
there's so many things that you have to do. So if with the Department of Housing, we really hope that it could be, there's such a thing as ease of doing business now. So and I hope with the present government, because it's addressing a lot of things, and I think things
Correct.
are moving in this government. So we're very optimistic that things are going to be faster.
Be better. Okay, and
for
easier.
developer.
Okay, so you mentioned, Miss Emma, about LGUs also. So and a lot of other government agencies that you deal with. With the project of the government, with the regional support, not only here in Metro Manila, because there's also lots of housing needs in different parts of the country. Which areas now of the Philippines are you focusing on in terms of the providing housing or homes for Filipinos?
Imperial Homes is basically in Luzon area. We are we are in all provinces of Bicol, but in Calabarzon we're in Silang, Cavite, Laguna, and we are in Cabanatuan, and through our building technology, which is I think it was shown a while ago. I think we will soon be in Mindanao.
Wow.
Because
that's good.
because of the problems of many developers in constructing their houses and their buildings, because of lack of manpower now. There's so much lack of labor because of the build.
Yes.
So
As a matter of fact, based in my report, there's a construction rush, and
boom.
there's a boom. And the sad thing is, while other a lot of builders we need a lot of builders here or construction workers. A lot of them are also
a developer for 36 years,
Mm-hmm.
and it has been a headache
Mm-hmm.
to keep the the contractors, the laborers, really deliver the project on time.
Mm-hmm.
But now it has gotten really worse
Really?
because many of the laborers that we hire comes from the provinces,
Mm-hmm.
and when they start building all this build, plus the construction boom in Makati,
Mm-hmm.
most of them just go to the provinces and join the build there. So you can't find the laborers here, right?
I see.
So,
So what's your solution? What do you in your company? How do you manage that?
well, my biggest transformation really is when we introduced the solar powered community.
Okay.
When we did the solar powered, there was no build yet,
Mhm.
but when we did the solar powered community, the increase in sales in our company was 60% growth every year.
Wow.
So you can see that people really like the solar in their homes.
Okay.
And I said, oh my God, this concept is really, doing very well. But I can't build. I'm always having problems with the contractors. So really, I've tried all the technology, and I have a Danish partner who said that there's one invention in Denmark that is built like a Lego, and it's 5 times the strength of the ordinary hollow block, and it's all the world class features, but it is built there for high end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
In Denmark.
in Denmark, it's
Okay.
high end in Denmark. That company worked with many institutions to produce this powder to make it lighter,
Okay.
to really address climate change. Denmark
Okay.
is one of the green city in the world, right?
Yes,
green
correct,
country in the
correct.
world. So they
Before you continue, Miss Emma, let me just get it right. So even before the build campaign, you already were looking at various technologies on how to address the housing needs,
Housing
the
needs.
housing backlog. And one of the technologies that you encountered was this solar. The use of solar power. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And then you are using a technology that replaces the hollow block. And did I
Yeah,
get it right?
yeah,
now?
yeah.
Okay. So
it's a technology that's producing 3 houses a day in our factory in Cavite.
wow.
But it took me 2 years to convince the Engard family, who
Okay.
is like the Ayala family in Aalborg in Denmark.
Okay.
It took me 2 years to convince them to come to the Philippines. They've never been to the Philippines, and they've never dealt outside of Denmark.
What took you what took you years to encourage them? Did they have some hesitance in
Yes.
terms of
Yes,
the
yes.
economic climate maybe or the political scenario of
No, they don't know the
yeah.
country, and they say, "What is she talking about? What is low cost?" They
I
don't know
see.
anything about low cost.
So because everything, as you said, the material there was developed for the high-end homes, correct?
Yes.
So that's my
time.
question.
Yes.
If that is really intended for the high-end homes in Denmark, how is that material in terms of cost here in the Philippines? How do you make it affordable in the Philippine market?
Well, first, how did I convince them, right?
Okay.
So when the solar park community got its so many award from World Bank, there was an award that was given to our company in Financial Times London for a transformational business award that addresses carbon reduction. So the company was one of the 96 that was awarded. It was the first for the Philippines. There was even
Wow.
no big announcement at the time. I just took it. But what I was more focused on how to impress the Engards, the
Okay.
one who made this powder.
Okay.
Because it's phenomenal. You can build it like a Lego. And so I called him. I said, Torben, do you think if I'm awarded in London among 96 countries, you think I'm telling a lie? It's time that your family gives back to the world, because there's 1 billion housing backlog, and you have to start and share your technology. And she said, you're getting award in London? I said, yeah. And I said, come over to my factory. So I went to...
So the factory is in Denmark?
Yes, in
Okay.
Denmark. And it was first time for me to be invited there. But I was ready. I was ready with my MOU. I was ready with my engineers in Manila to really make estimates. And when they said, how is this possible? Because here it's high end. And I said, what's the composition of your... So they have inside the panel is insulation.
Okay.
That insulation is worth 35% more. If you remove the insulation and you retain just the cement panels,
Okay.
it will be less. So I started making computations.
So what makes it expensive is the insulation inside it.
Inside. Because the insulation is good for the cold weather, even for the hot weather. It will reduce the heat inside or the cold
Okay.
inside by 30 to 40%.
But you said that you are taking out the insulation in the material for the Philippines.
For the low cost.
For the low cost.
Yes, for the
I
low
see.
cost.
But you know,
When you're building with the hollow blocks, it's very porous. Diba?
Mm-hmm.
When you crack the hollow block, it crumbles like
Correct.
that. So that porosity is the one that catch the molds. And when you see in your home these molds, like in your wall, there's like water mark there. That is a source of molds that produces illness for your lungs.
Mm-hmm.
This product is mold free. So it's
Wow.
very, very good. And we don't know.
Oh, okay.
It's like Coca-Cola. I mean, they will never share with you the powder's formula.
I see.
I don't know.
But where is it coming from?
It's from Denmark.
I
So
see.
they created the powder for 8 years with $10 million fund.
I see.
But it was really to attack climate change.
Okay. But is there, again, before we go into a break, but because I got so excited about this, you have plans, or is there already a plan that you are putting up, like say, a factory here in the Philippines?
We already have.
I already have.
It's already in
Okay.
Silang.
Okay, and using that powder.
Yeah, we import just the powder. The rest we get it here, and then sometimes we get some materials from China. So a little bit here and there, but my partners in Denmark were so amazed with what's happening when I started doing this. So they're thinking that in 5 years they're going to also put a plant here for this powder.
Okay.
Well, I think they trust me enough to.
Okay. What is impressive there, Miss Emma, is that it's already a disruptive technology, but you keep on innovating it. More from Miss Emma Imperial, the President and CEO of Imperial Homes, when open for business returns. Stay tuned. are open for business, and still with me is the president and CEO of Imperial Homes, Miss Emma Imperial. Miss Emma, this got me excited because you are introducing disruptive technology for the housing sector, and you explained with clarity how effective this is and how powerful is this, and how it's. Can you expound on the impact of this disruptive technology for the housing sector? Number one, you mentioned about affordability, and then also how different is it from the normal construction material that we use. Can you expound more on the features of this technology?
First of all, there's nothing like it because it's high performance concrete.
Okay.
High performance concrete means that if you go beyond 8,000 psi, that's already high performance concrete.
Okay.
That means you can use it for bridges and for infrastructure. So the houses that we build is only 2,500 psi. So for the real small houses, sometimes they use hollow blocks for at 500 or 1,000 psi. So can you imagine? This technology is 14,000 psi.
Wow.
And yet we're using it for the low-income market. And how good could that be?
Okay.
And it's the first time that a low-income buyer can really have a world-class home together with the solar solutions with battery. It's not even available to rich people like you.
Oh, no. I belong to the socialized market, Miss Emma. Okay, the thing there is, how is this now impacting on the sector, and what are the feedback of the industry? I'm sure with the competition in the construction business, they would there's so much competition and talk about this technology that they also would want to use it because they want, like you, they want also to address the housing backlog.
Well, it's good because the Connovate Philippines is open for other developers.
Okay.
And we have a lot of lineups, like a lot of people, a lot of developers are talking to us because they really have a problem. And not only that, I get invited to other countries like Singapore, Hong Kong to speak. And I meet a lot of problems also, like in Sri Lanka, in India, Indonesia. And I get invited, but the only thing that I was able to do partnership with was the India, and that's enough. 1.5 billion population, right? But this CEO was so excited about what he saw that he did 8 to 10 months. He was coming back and forth to the Philippines until we signed together with Denmark. And currently, I think we have 3 or 4 big developers that are talking to us so that we can set up a factory. What's nice with this technologies, we can put up a factory that is, you can dismantle it and transfer it to your other site.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
it's really a Danish Lego type,
I
including
see.
the houses is like Danish
Okay.
Lego type.
So from the houses that you build to the manufacturing plant, or to that plant that you will develop, is like a Lego type
Yeah, it's
system.
like a type system. And
So far, Miss Emma, how many homes have you built using this technology?
oh, we just launched this 2018, and we put up 400.
Okay.
And because the factory that we built is good for 1 house a day, so we're okay. We did 400. So if you want,
Sorry, I hope I heard that right. You can build 1 house a day with this technology
in our factory,
in your factory.
in my factory, the capacity is really 3 houses a day.
Wow.
But we started because we just put up the factory this year, so it's 1 house a day. So we have built already almost 400, and we're now adding molds to make our 3 houses a day complete by this year, because the next mold can put up our condominium, which is we have 2 buildings now that we're building condominium, and it's not Connovate yet. It's not this technology.
Okay.
And it's already 14 months. The contractor said he can build it in 10 months. It's already 14 months and still not turned over to us. But with the conduit, we can build this in 40 days, just the
Wow.
structure. So
Wow.
it's really phenomenal because you don't need all these posts. It's all load bearing walls, so that's why it can. And there's these connectors that the Danes have. Their
But
system.
I have to go back to the cost, Miss Emma.
Eh.
So how, like, since this is new technologies, especially here in the Philippines, but how would be, how is the export costs, the raw materials coming from Denmark impacting on your profitability?
There's a little bit of additional cost. It's like 10 to 15%. However, when we do all of the mathematical computations.
Okay.
So when you compute the early turnover, so for instance, hollow blocks or the panel system that we're doing now, you can finish it within 6 to 10 months, depending on the size of the house. With this technology, you finish it in 2 months.
Wow.
You can build. We have this 13 houses that we installed in 8 days. So the
Wow.
13 houses you can finish in 60 days, right? So what the savings that the developer gets compensate for that 15%. So it goes back. It also goes down because there's this interest cost of money that is saved, plus no more complaint from the buyers. Second, they're doing a renewable product, right? And then they're also going to be faster turnover to the buyers. The buyers will be happy. So this is the so
Now, Miss Emma, in the introduction of this technology, I'm sure there are a lot of challenges also that you encountered so far. Can you cite, a few these challenges as you introduce this new technology?
well, a lot of your viewers probably are people who would like to be entrepreneur in the future. Well, when you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to take risks. And when I was trying to build this factory, and it was a huge factory, when we first made our first panel, it's like I was giving birth. Because I want to know if the panel is really working, right? So when we first poured the first panel, the reason why it's so fast is because the powder cures the cement so fast. So the fastest curing time for a precast system, which is very expensive, would be about 24 to 48 hours. This one is 6 hours, it's cured.
Wow.
So, but during the time that they poured, the time that I was going to sleep, and the Danes were in my house. They were working with me. So evening, I was talking to them in the morning. So in the morning, I was like having butterfly in my stomach. I said, "How's the panel?" And then they took picture. I said, "Great, the panel's good." Of course, they know that the panel's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But they were always kidding me. So, well, there are times that the people that are being trained from the province, we train our foremen. Of course, we train the people that are close to us.
Which is my question. Is it hard for this new technology to be introduced to Filipino workers? Because I'm sure since it's a new technology, there's supposed to be a learning curve. But is it something that can easily be taught
Yes,
to?
yes.
Well,
Yes, because the chairman of Conovate and the Ambercon, which is two big companies in them, came
Okay.
here and he was so happy with the people in the factory and the installer. He was so happy that he was almost teary-eyed because he was like, I didn't know that this is gonna impact like this, because in Denmark they're mostly rich people there. There are no poor. Even the person who collect garbage, they're paid 300,000 a month. So it's like the equality is really very, very good. So when they see the workers are just receiving this, but then they're doing so well, they really get touched, and that the factory that they're doing is really going to the low income. So we feel so happy with that. But when our foremen were seeing this transformational installation, all of them got scared
because
because he said, "Oh my God, we're gonna lose our job because they could see it's so fast, and what is there to watch, because before.
So
Yeah.
how did you appease them?
No, is it? We have so much backlog that you can't stop. I mean, can
Okay.
you imagine our company alone is we have a backlog of 1,000. We want to build 1,000. The whole country has a backlog of 3.6 million. So you can be trained and go to another factory. My God, there's a lot of room for everyone. But actually now. We now are ready for 2 more factories. So the second factory is in Iriga to serve our BAKOD projects. And I told you the third factory is going to be in Mindanao, in Davao, which is the country of the president. So I think it's going to be the gateway to Mindanao. And then we have a fourth one, which is in CABANATUAN.
Okay. With all these plans, Miss Emma, what is your vision?
Well, I think they get scared when I say we want 100 factories all over the country. So it's all renewable, everything is renewable, everything is fast. And you imagine if we have all these factories all around, then all these thousands or 1 million backlog will be.
And we
solved.
haven't really talked about the use of solar energy, because it's also one of the key features of your technology.
That is the best, actually. Aside from the conduit technology is a support to the solar powered community, because the impact of the solar powered communities is phenomenal. It's only now that we in Imperial Homes really find that the impact is tremendous on the community as we gather data. Because the first time we developed the solar powered community, we knew that it's going to have savings on electricity.
Correct.
That's all we knew.
Correct.
And then we also know, we computed how much carbon dioxide can it reduce per house. We also know that. So for every townhouse we build, that home buyer is able to reduce 1.2 tons of carbon dioxide per year for the country.
Okay.
And it also give her savings of up to 31%. So a buyer usually that is paying 2,005 or 3,000 pesos a month is now just paying to the Meralco. We have data that says, and it's ridiculously low, 9 pesos,
Wow.
200 up to 800. But you see,
From 3,000
to 9 pesos
To
to
9
200 to 800. But that includes already the payment of their solar to Pag-ibig Fund, because Pag-ibig Fund supported us on this, our company.
Yeah, but Miss Emma, I hear and read reports that solar is also expensive. Solar power or this solar technology is expensive. The ones that are used by
Transformation in the community. What happened is that when we interviewed some of our homeowners, 20% of them started making home businesses.
Wow.
And the home businesses averaging of additional income of about 16,000 a month. And they're only
What are these home businesses, like
That-
for example?
they're catering to the factories,
I see.
and because it's cheap electricity, so
Yeah.
they use their oven, they use big refrigerator, they buy freezers,
I
and
see.
then making even ice candy. Ice
I
candy produces 3,000 a month income.
Okay, that's
And
great.
then sari store, we have one person there, which is 7,000 per week.
Wow, that's
And
so.
this is the
I
most.
think that we have some photos. Can our production team also show those photos? So the good thing, Miss Emma, is that you are also trying to integrate social entrepreneurship here. So it's not just building homes, but you help, uplift that specific community. Is this part of your vision?
It was unexpected.
Oh.
It was unexpected because what happened was we were just thinking it will save electricity,
Mm-hmm.
but then the housewives who are left at home
Mhm.
started, using the excess electricity,
Okay.
and this is very good, especially for this month. It's a Women's Month.
Yes.
That the solar powered community really empower women
Mhm.
to help their husbands who are working and create more income, and it makes them proud, proud that they're able to help the husband, and even more because now one of the fantastic woman there is Miss Capin, that she's now making 60,000 a month for catering
Wow,
services.
that's
So
great.
it's really fantastic. And another case is that it's very good for education of the students, of the children in the community, because they are able to study longer hours. Some of our students or some of the children there get honors, and they're able, because they have savings in the electricity, they're able to buy computers.
Mhm.
So all of those things is just making me happy, because the innovation does not just provide savings, it now provides a whole ecosystem
Exactly.
that is
Exactly. A
really
very, and the key word there is sustainability. Because a
Sustainability.
lot of, companies now really focus on sustainability.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what you are doing. And you are getting awards and rewards for
Yeah,
this, Miss
yeah.
Emma.
Well,
So
awards.
I'll get more personal now because we are lacking, time. And, there's so much to talk about this new technology. But on a personal level, Miss Emma, you are one of the few women entrepreneurs who are looked up to by other entrepreneurs and other women because of your initiatives in the sector. Can you expound on, what drives you to work and share this knowledge and new technology and try to get more of these initiatives, deal with the government, deal with another country to bring their technology into ours? What is your view of women in entrepreneurship?
For women, I think I'm very big in love of country. So when I have another best friend, Marifa Zamora, who has a very big love for country. That's why our country is the number one call center in the world. She's so open to all the women leaders and put them all together so that they were able to make it happen. We overtook India. And in the same manner, this is the way I'm trying to move. It's like I try to open to everyone so that, we could be the solar capital of Asia, if not the world, things like that. So that's what they have to have first, this love for country, and when you love the country, you love others, right? So you have to serve other people. That's really key to a successful company. You have to have I think our company is the only company that has been awarded for social entrepreneurship, and this was we got award from NetSuite because I told them, I said, look, we earn money, we make money, and said, so we cannot be social entrepreneur. He said, no, you are giving you a grant because you're helping climate change and you're also helping alleviate poverty. So it was
Perfect.
unexpected that we got this grant from NetSuite. So for the young entrepreneurs, you guys have to always consider that if you want to start a business, it has to be a business for others, how you can help others, not first yourself. Because when you think of helping a big, massive customers that need really the help that you need, you become successful. It just happens, It just happens.
Wow. So, that's a that's a good advice from Miss Emma Imperial. And what's next for you and for your company, Miss Emma?
We're so busy, we were so busy looking for land and partnership because our houses are being grabbed left and right. So we're really doing a lot of business development. Plus, we're entertaining a lot of developers who are having problems in construction. So we'd like to share this. But we would like to go to areas where we need to serve. It's like Mindanao is the next frontier. It's like a gateway, and Visayas too. Most of the development are here in Luzon and Southern. We should go out and spread it. So I said 100 factories is a good target.
That is perfect. We are very excited, and we hope that Miss Emma Imperial will join us again. And our quote of the week is from Miss Bonnie Wright. She said, "Solar power is the last energy resource that isn't owned yet. Nobody taxes the sun yet." Join us again next Saturday, 5 p.m. Philippine time for another episode of Open for Business, where we discuss business information, deliver the latest business news to keep you informed and open for business, and be ahead of the curve from vision to action. You're on Facebook Live on Eagle News, and you can watch us again in the video section of the Eagle News Facebook page and on eaglenewslive.com. Also visit postinglive.com for news and updates on Open for Business. Catch me later at 9 p.m. and every Wednesday also at 9 p.m. on Net25's Eagle News International as I report more business news here and around the world. For Open for Business, this is Cesar Vallejos. Have a great day.
Open for Business was presented by Eagle Broadcasting Corporation and Globe My Business. Create your success.